Good morning. I am sitting down talking in front of camera because I feel like it's been quite a while that I haven't really talked to camera just like this. Yes, vlogging, showing things, editing, and here and there is fun and also requires a lot of effort to work on because one has to research, one has to edit, requires days and days and days to make one particular video on a weekly basis. However, I feel like for a real engagement, for a real connection, sometimes a sit down like this is much better. It's not that I have a lot to say. Perhaps I do, because the last time I posted a video when I opened up a little bit, it was during the time when I just came back to Indonesia. So in the process of everything in between, after leaving China, it felt like I was struggling so much to adjust being home in the first place, because I've shared this a little bit, but I've never felt like Indonesia is my home, and it makes it hard because since 2016 I haven't been in Indonesia. So to really connect back a little bit and then to catch up with friends and families, it was part of my process to reconnect with people that I had to reconnect. In reality of it all as well, I think it was much more difficult than I thought it would, in a way that I was mentally struggling, because there was part of me not only struggling mentally in terms of the double life that I had, especially the recent change of taking off the hijab. And it's not just like, okay, I'm going to take off the hijab. No, it's not. It's been a long time coming process that I've never shared publicly. And I mean, sometimes, right, I feel and I said to myself, who am I to even share stuff of my own publicly? So I would really dismiss the idea of sharing my own personal progress. But a lot of the times I found this type of videos, chatty and stuff like that, is really the one that it triggers myself to share a little bit more, because everything in this world, I think we are all related to one another based on stories that we have. And after leaving China, I felt like I was quite a bit shocked by I was so used to with having the internet blocked, because to be honest, that was what I needed. Yes, I know, politically speaking, security speaking, whatever. In my personal story, that blockage of internet was the best thing that happened, because I needed that space of mine, not having a lot of distractions other than YouTube. Yes, I was working on videos on YouTube at the same time. I was working full time. I taught classes for 7 days a week, and there wasn't enough time for me to actually do anything much. And so the amount of time that I had back then, I would spend on making videos, edit videos, connect to the person that I really want to connect, which is my boyfriend, also my families and very, very close friends. That's the only circles I try to maintain in contact with. And so slowly, and as the year passed by, I was so used to with having that clear space, or much more quieter environment to the mind. And so when I left, it suddenly became so free, not freeing in a way that just because internet was available and Facebook and Instagram, whatever, but it was so much more difficult to adjust to, because to the mind it was so much more busy. It was so busy in my mind, because I was able to understand what everyone was saying because I was home. But also, even when I stepped in Malaysia for a transit back then, everything seemed to be like I was overwhelmed. So transition between that was a bit it took me by some time, and so of course it affected what I wanted to do with YouTube, because back in the days when I was in China, I just started making YouTube and making videos for the idea of probably people would be interested in knowing what China is really like. What I'm trying to say as well is the transition making it hard for me to also navigate this YouTube channel at that time, because it was a hobby back then, right? And there was not enough pressure and everything like that. But it feels like now making it quote unquote full time, and I had to start to change my attitude to YouTube, meaning that I have to be more disciplined than I used to be, because you can't just make videos about a day in your life and then that's about it. No, you have to think about concept and everything like that. Behind the scene, there is so much going on, and so everyone who is making YouTube videos would understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and then I was staying for 3 months at home. And also in between, I was so struggling whether should I keep up with showing up as if I was still wearing the hijab and I could still relate to that, showing up at that, to preserve the image, right? Or showing up as myself where it may hurt the idea of the YouTube traffic, YouTube channel, but then I'll be free because I don't have to pretend to be someone else. And of course it took me, I had to take 3 weeks off from really reading YouTube, whatever. So I was in Yogyakarta with a friend, a very dear friend of mine, that helped me out with, just mentality in mental support, also with from my boyfriend's consistent moral support. And so at that time I thought, this is it. I just can't do it anymore. And it took a lot of courage. And I haven't make a specific video or topic about why, because I think at one point it's very important to open up, but to be able to explain the very, very personal reason and to share it to publicly, for everyone to be able to comment on that and to comment on your personal journey, I think it requires a lot more time for me to be able to do that. It felt freeing the first video when I had a lot of anxiety when the video was up, and I also shared publicly. I can no longer do that because not only I had to confront my family in the first place to be able to show as myself, which it's not easy. I love my parents so much and everything, but a lot of the times in family you have conflict, of course, and conflict is not comfortable to face with, and so that I had to deal with in the first place before to be able to come up, because the only reason why I don't show up as myself as much, in terms of pretending to be someone who's still wear the hair cover back then, because of my parents, because I a lot of conflict within myself, also considering my parents' feelings. So anyway, in all reality, I really feel like I'm grateful for the support, the moral support, even though it's only comments, even though probably in real life I don't know these people, but all of this support makes it like there is still a space. It's not like the end of the world, of course, but growing up with all of these beliefs and commonality of what I used to believe makes it it is as if it's the end of the world. I know, I just feel like I needed to let it out there, because I stayed in Indonesia, in Jakarta in particular, for 3 months to catch up with my families and everything, until I left for China for a limited project. So it was only 4 days, and then I head back to Indonesia, and then went to Sumatra. The videos that you have been seeing was all pre-recorded months ago, because to be able to keep up with weekly schedule and while traveling at the same time, I had to pre-film everything and pre-record, pre-research and everything in advance. And I know for sure that the video in Indonesia is not going to attract a lot of traffic, but at the same time it felt like something that I needed to do. And I know probably sometimes it seems like the video is all about food, because I appreciate food so much, and I need to diversify what I'm doing on YouTube, and hopefully I'll be able to. But also at the same time, I'm doing everything by myself. I research by myself, I film by myself, I travel alone by myself. So everything at all once can be really quite overwhelming. And then business speaking wise, it can be yeah, please do. It's alright. Business speaking wise, it will be a little bit difficult, because on YouTube you don't only think about what video you make. You have to think about the title, the thumbnail. Is it clickable? Is it like the timing, when to publish and things like that. And all of these are quite challenging to figure out by oneself. I'm not complaining. This is just the idea of how one can make YouTube videos. But also at the same time, I think I'm very, very grateful to have this platform, because it allows me to be creative in a platform that, you know, it's so easy to get away and to trap in a mind of wanting to have more subscribers, to have more views, to have more of this and that and this and that, and which at the end it ends up being the number of this, the number of that, the number of views, number of subscribers. It wears you out, and I feel like without a right business mind, this is not going to be sustainable enough, because the pace is nothing in comparison to the amount of hours you prepare for, you know, videos. But also at the same time, I am grateful because I have a platform to be able to showcase a little bit of things I didn't know I would enjoy. And I wouldn't say about so much passionate about something of this making videos, because I do enjoy that. But is this something that I want to do for the rest of my life? That I don't know yet. What I know for sure, I would like to pursue traveling a little bit still, because I have started traveling since 4 years ago. Now I would like to do a little bit more of that, and probably YouTube. But next year, hopefully, please pray for me, I'll be able to pursue this Australian working holiday visa that I have been meaning to go and to do since 2015, because one of the requirements is that it requires 5,000 Australian dollar in terms of deposit, and I didn't have the money until I worked in China. I saved, and then that's actually why I went to China to teach. And now that I'm able to have a little bit more savings, I want to do that. And also, what I also would like to say is that I hope that you're growing up along with this channel and with me, because yes, in the meantime, I'm traveling and showing this part of culture and that part of culture, and probably a little bit of my travel here and there, because in reality, traveling is tiring as well, because you move from one place to the other. You are dealing with constant change of places, people, and for psychologically speaking, sometimes it's not nice. Nomadic, all of these people that keep saying about digital nomad, what they're doing is they have already established a business, and then they would stay in one place for the longest period of time, like minimum month to 6 months. But what I'm doing is also traveling and trying to slow down, but making YouTube videos consistently. So at the end of the day, my goal is to have a more of financial security, and I love staying at one place and showing a little bit more of what I see through my eyes, and a little bit more creatively. And even though if I stop traveling or stay at one particular place abroad, I will still keep making videos, in which I hope that you will get along with me in this journey. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I want to say. I don't know if this sounds blabbering or not, but I hope that you have had a great day so far. I just want to say thank you, and I hope to see you again in my next video, and bye.